Hi guys, welcome to another 4-segment Sunday episode from our channel, Van Trekking Lifestyle. I'm Owen, welcome back. If this is your first time here, Lynn, Maggie, and I travel around as much as we can during this pandemic, and we document the highs and lows of being retired in a little camper van. Whether this is your first episode or you've been with us for every single mile of the journey, we're glad you're here. Welcome. Last week we finished up a week of daily vlogs as we traveled the entire Blue Ridge Parkway. If you missed that one, we'll put a link to that series here and down in the description. This week has been much less adventurous for us, and we've settled back into life here at home for a while. But we try to make ourselves get out and explore each and every week, no matter what we're doing. This week was hard though. We'd just gotten back from that long trip and it rained. It rained every day. It rained so much that I started wondering if we should have a boat instead of a van. But one morning, the clouds held off enough for us to do one of our favorite local hikes. So off to Wolf Rock at Stone Mountain State Park we headed, and we'll take you along with us.
We didn't get far on the trail till Maggie had to poop.
It was good she did that right at the very beginning. It's supposed to be 85 degrees today, but we're up at Stone Mountain in North Carolina. The North Carolina version of Stone Mountain. A lot of people here today, but the trail we usually take, which is to Wolf Rock, usually it's strenuous enough that most people stay away from it. Beautiful, beautiful day to have a hike to.
What you dadgumming it about? Did you get your feet wet?
Stepped all in that mud puddle. Come on, Mag.
Let's see.
Mom was smarter than me and you. Look at Maggie.
The shoes.
It's up to her belly how deep it was.
I hope you get cleaned up, Maggie. Let's see. Yeah, she's got some brown paws.
It does.
Let's see your shoes. Not too bad. You got it all over your leg.
This is what you see when you reach the top of Wolf Rock. This is why we love coming here.
Where's Maggie? Can anybody see Maggie?
I don't know. Where is Maggie? I don't recognize that dog with those black feet.
I know, but we found a nice little shade spot. It's awesome up here. What you doing, Bug? Can't find a soft, comfy spot to lay? She taking a nap? Owen's beating his sock on a tree, gonna dry it out where he stepped in the mud. Now he's walking one shoe on, one shoe off. He's gonna have bad luck.
That's like Festus.
Oh, Festus has a limp, but he doesn't walk with one shoe on and one shoe off. So the other shoe didn't get wet.
What we doing, Marshall Dillon? No, just my right foot got really, really wet. It's pretty deep.
Yeah, I saw you sink down in it.
Yeah,
that's when
why
I
you
decided.
stopped.
That's when I decided to turn around. It's hot and it's humid. Do you think it was a good thing to do this morning?
It would have been a good thing to do this morning. I don't know about this afternoon.
Well, it's not afternoon yet.
What time is it?
I don't know.
I mean, I can tell you. 12:35.
Yeah, I guess it is afternoon.
Yeah.
We should have gotten up earlier and
Well, we should
done
have
this.
left earlier. We
should've-
got up pretty early. We just
Yeah.
didn't leave as early as we should have left.
We have this thing of sitting out on the porch and drinking our coffee and waking up really slow, don't we?
Watching the hummingbirds and the cardinals and all the little birds. And
But if we wait until it cools off, unless
It
we get
always
up really,
rains.
really early, then we don't ever go. So we decided today that we would just go. And we would just go slow and take it easy and stop
there were
on
a
the
lot
way.
of people in the parking lot, and there are a lot of people probably up at the Stone Mountain waterfalls.
Right.
But we're at Wolf Rock. We actually think this is probably the prettiest place here in the state park, and we have it to ourselves.
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why we usually come to this place. Maggie, what did you think about the hike? Huh? Did you like it? You resting, Maggie? Are you resting on the steps with Daddy?
Yes, ma'am.
Y'all waiting on Mommy?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you ready to go?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let's go down these steps.
No, ma'am. We realize that we're lucky. We realize that you may not have a state park 10 miles from your backyard, but if you have anything near you like that, even during these times, Lynn and I would encourage you to get out and exercise and stretch your legs and do what you can do to be out in Mother Nature. If you're like us, you're getting older. Doing a long hike's a little harder, and we found that out this time. I was winded, and I'm not sure if it was the humidity or if it's just me being old, but you got to get out and do things when you have the strength and the willpower to do that. And each day is a blessing. I've heard Lynn say that so many times, and we try to live our lives by that. And we try to eat well, which brings us to the next part of the episode, our Griddle Me This portion, where this week I make, of all things, wings on the Blackstone Griddle. Take a look. Griddle me this. Can you make wings on a 22-inch Blackstone Griddle? You darn betcha. Tonight for dinner, we're going to have wings on the griddle. Did you know you could do that? We're going to make perfect, crispy, scrumptious wings on the Blackstone Griddle. Put a little grease down. Now we're going to put the cutlets and the drumettes down. I know which one I like the best, and I know which one Lynn likes the best, but how about you guys? Are you a cutlet person or a drumette person? Doesn't matter, they're both going to taste great. Down they go. Make sure they all get where they're touching the griddle. We're going to cover them up with an aluminum pan. Now we're going to make wing sauce that's really, really special with half a stick of butter and your favorite wing sauce. We love Sweet Baby Ray's for just about everything, and this is hard to beat right here. We're going to put that over low heat. It's been 5 minutes. We're going to check our wings now. All right. The reason I'm saying all right is we don't want them to look brown yet. We're just trying to cook them from the inside, and we're trying to reach an internal temperature of 145. Why 145? Because that's about 80% there, and once we get to 80%, we're going to do something special with them. I'm not going to tell you yet.
Secret.
It's a secret. Just about every one of these Blackstone 22s is hotter in the back than it is in the front. Don't understand that. Not really sure how to say this. I always butcher it. Worcestershire sauce, W sauce. That's what I usually call it, the W sauce. We're going to put a little dash of that on each piece of the chicken now. That'll get it going great. In here we have some kosher salt and black pepper. We're going to hit it with that. We're going to cover it back up, and it goes down for 5 more minutes. With this meal tonight, we're going to have a salad and some ranch dressing and wings. Perfect. If there was a ball game on we could watch, this would be a perfect meal. You can keep these frozen wings in the freezer of your RV, whip the griddle out, and have dinner in less than 30 minutes, and it's a good, healthy, but delicious dinner. It's been 5 minutes. It's time for me to flip these things over. At this point, we're going to take the tin off, take some temperature readings, and what we're looking for is about 145 to 150, and you want to take them off when they're there. Ours are there. Okay, now we're going to pour the magic sauce, the wing sauce, and butter. In this bowl, the teriyaki sauce is going to go in. Now the chicken's going to go back onto the hot griddle. At this point, you're just cooking away the liquid and dodging the grease. Hey, you might not want to do this barefooted. At this point, you want to just cook away most of the juice and brown up the top of these so they're crispy. You can see that's what we're doing now. They're ready to come off. These are going to be delicious. Here we go. Homemade wings on the griddle. Griddle me this. Are they going to be any good? I hope so. Here we go. Let's try one of these guys. All right, this is going to be hot, but I'm going to take my first bite here.
Can't see your face from your from your hat. Are they good?
Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Spicy.
Are they better than Buffalo Wild Wings?
They may be.
Yeah.
They may be. Let me taste the teriyaki one.
Right.
That's going to be the real tip.
Which one you like the best?
Let me get me a bite of this salad here.
You probably need some dressing on the salad. I did not put that on there yet.
Let me issue the salad. But those wings, I go, those wings are good. Griddle me this. Can you make wings on a 22-inch Blackstone Griddle. You darn betcha. 2 different types in one meal. Couldn't be better. Hope you guys will join us again next Sunday. We'll show you another griddle recipe. Until then. Well, that was a wonderful, wonderful meal. A bowl full of napkins, a messy mouth, and 2 old people laughing because we were able to do wings on the griddle. Riddle me this. Were they good? They were really good. They weren't great. They were really good. I did some things wrong. And I'm going to start telling you that whenever I do it so you'll know. Because I'm not a chef. We did this one time and you guys liked it, and all of a sudden I'm cooking on the griddle all the friggin' time. And so I want to tell you what I did wrong. I had the griddle way too hot. Everyone I watched said put it on medium heat, and I did that. But on my particular griddle at this time of year, medium heat's too hot to be able to turn it 3 times. So I should have had it on low heat, and I should have had it there. Man, I look terrible done. I should have had it on low heat, and I should have maybe planned to turn them 4 or 5 times. And I should not have put the Worcestershire sauce on until the very end, because we both think that's what kind of burned on the griddle and stuck to the griddle. Other than that, it was really, really good. Believe it or not, my favorite was the sweet teriyaki sauce. I love regular wing sauce, and that wing sauce with the butter was fantastic. But the teriyaki sauce, that was the winner. So there you have it. We had a great time, and Lynn and I were just talking. We're cooking together all the time now. We don't have to worry about one of us having to cook one meal and figure out what the next meal is going to be. We're both doing it together. And if you're a husband out there and you're used to your wife cooking, this griddle gives you an opportunity to jump in and help. And you'll get really good at it. And I bet you'll get better than I am really quickly, because I keep telling you guys, I'm not that good at this. But we eat well, and we're glad you're part of this journey. See you next week around the griddle. So is this the best meal we've ever cooked on the griddle? Maybe not. It's really good, and if we had company over and we made these wings, people would be really, really pleased with them and surprised that we did them on the griddle. But it did take the winner for one thing. It's definitely the dirtiest griddle I've had with any single cook that I've done. It just, look at this thing. It's just so dirty. But here, I'll show you in a minute what it looks like when we clean it. But here you go. Ready for the next cook. Maybe 10 minutes to get it completely clean and ready to go again. If you ever had one of these gas griddles like the Coleman or anything like that, you know how stuff gets down inside of the grill and it gets on the burners, and you just tell your wife, it'll burn away. There's no way to get it out of there. It's not like that with the Blackstone. All the grease goes in the grease trap in the back, and you can clean this thing, and it's not hard to clean. So you'll look like a hero because you're keeping it clean, when in reality, it's just pretty simple to keep it clean. But don't tell Lynn I told you that. See you next week around the griddle. We're gonna have to make wings again really soon. Those things were awesome, and I believe I can make them a lot better than I did during this episode. But that brings us to the Q&A portion of this week's episode, where we try to answer just a few of the questions that you guys have about what it's like to be retired and trying to make life work in a little bitty van. A lot of the questions we received this week came as a result of our trip along the Blue Ridge Parkway, and we'll try to get to those right now. Leslie Harding was wondering what was open during the COVID as we traveled on the Blue Ridge Parkway, and could we share our thoughts about that? Well, we found a lot of things were really open and you could go in, but if you've watched the episodes, then you know that Lynn and I are extremely careful about going into places, and basically all we're going to do, we may walk up and get takeout at some restaurant that we love, but most of the time all we're going to do is get gas. So we're not that concerned about what is open. But specifically on this trip, almost everything that's funded by the government was closed. We didn't find any of the information centers open. We didn't find any of the museums or things that you could stop and see open. We didn't find any of the visitor centers to be open either, with the exception of Mabry Mill, which was open with demonstrations on the weekends instead of every single day. And we found many of the campgrounds on the parkway, which are also part of recreation.gov, were closed as well. There were a few that were open, and you saw that we were able to take advantage of those, but many were closed. So, what we've learned, if it's state funded, it's usually going to be open during COVID, it seems. But if it's government funded, a lot of those are going to be closed. If that matters to you, make sure you check really closely before you head out. The next question comes from two people, Andrew Brickman and Jimmy D. They wanted to know what would be accessible on that parkway trip if they had a B plus or a C class RV. I'm thinking maybe 25 to 30 feet. Well, I don't think we would have missed anything if we had if we had a leisure travel van Wonder, or if we had a Navion or a View or something that size. I don't think we would have missed anything. We may have worried about a few of the things that we turned off to go visit a little more. And there were a few places like the Mabry Mill that wouldn't allow anything that's classified as an RV to park in the main parking lot. So we may have had to walk a little further, but I don't think we would have missed anything. Now, just because I say we wouldn't have missed it doesn't mean we would have enjoyed the trip as much. What Lynn and I have learned is there's a lot less stress with that 21-foot van. And in fact, if we were going to change, we may actually go down to a 19-foot van as opposed to getting bigger. So that may tell you something. But no matter what you're in, we'd encourage you to go take in that Blue Ridge Parkway, and I'm betting you would enjoy the journey no matter what you're driving. Thanks for the question, guys. Andrew Brickman and Rodolfo Tenarios both asked, did you guys make reservations during your Blue Ridge Parkway trip? Nah, we didn't. It really was a spur-of-the-moment kind of trip. We woke up on a Tuesday and decided we wanted to go travel the entire length of the Blue Ridge Parkway. It's one of the big advantages of having a van and being retired and having the flexibility to do that. So off we went. We made it to that very first campground, which was Loft Mountain. We knew before we left that they have first come, first serve, and we've been there before, and we knew we loved it, and we knew we probably during the week we could find a place, and that was true. Almost all the campgrounds on the parkway, if they're open, you can book same-day reservations on recreation.gov. So we would wake up on the morning of the next day, and we would look to see if the campgrounds we wanted to stay at during that part of the trip had a bunch of availability. And if they did, we just headed on and didn't worry about making any reservations or booking it. But the very last day, we decided in Asheville, when we looked, there were 2 available, so we went ahead and booked a spot for that night. I think as long as you're traveling Mondays through Thursday nights, you should be able to find availability on the parkway. It really does fill up over the weekends though, so I would be careful about making sure you had reservations during that time if you're traveling especially during a peak time. Thanks for the questions, guys. Barbara Welts asked, we currently have a 5th wheel. Do you have any regrets about downsizing? Well, Barbara, no, we don't. We think about every now and then that we missed a few of the things that we used to have when we had a 5th wheel as well, but the nimbleness of the van far outweighs those things that we miss. That doesn't mean that we won't get a 5th wheel again in the future, but we sure do like the flexibility of some type of motorhome. Just being able to hop up and go from the front seats to the back seats and be able to go to the bathroom when you stop and never have to get out in the rain. We've had those days where you had to go let a slide out in a 5th wheel so you could get to the refrigerator or go to the bathroom, and it's a lot more convenient when you have a motorhome, no matter what size. It's especially convenient when it's a 21-foot motorhome. I think if we were going to replace our van, we'd either get something smaller or we'd get a medium-sized motorhome. I hope that answers your question. The next question and the final question this week comes from the Sassy Spoon. She said a lot about being jealous of our e-bikes, and we love those things, but her question was, can they handle the mountain roads like the Blue Ridge Parkway? Well, we didn't get them out and ride them on the Blue Ridge Parkway, but we've had them on some extremely steep 7, 8, and 9, 10% grades. And you can pedal and go pretty fast, even going uphill, or you can just use the throttle and go 6 or 7 miles an hour going uphill. But one thing for sure Lynn and I have learned about our e-bikes, our rad mini step-through 2s. We don't worry about heels anymore, no matter how big they are. But if you're wondering if they're going to work in a hilly situation, I think you'll be even more jealous, and I hope you get yours pretty soon. Well, that wraps up this week's Q&A. If you have a question you want Lynn and I to answer in a future episode, just leave it in the comments below, and we'll do our best to get to it in an upcoming episode. Speaking of upcoming episode, we hope to get back on the road again really soon and take at least a week or 2 week long trip. And so many of you like the daily vlogs that we're hoping to be able to do those again when we head somewhere else. And we'll keep you posted. But until then, we'll keep the Sunday episodes coming. Just know that we're grateful that you're part of our journey. We'll leave you with a look at nature this week with something that we've noticed are flourishing during these times. Rain keeps us wet, but it sure seems to make mushrooms happy. And a lot of mushrooms seems to make Lynn happy, which seems to make me happy. So this week, we'll show you some of the most beautiful mushrooms that Lynn's taken pictures and video of during the last few weeks. Happy tales.